Hi, I'm Robert Miller. I was a poll watcher in the primary 2022 election here in El Paso County, and I was in the ballot counting room uh, on election day after 7 p.m. So I got a good view of that. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding out there about how ballot mail-in balloting works and is reported. And especially I wanted to cover the Drazabot graph that has been in the news quite a bit lately and why it looks like it should. I'm not saying anything in this video that proves or disproves any hanky-panky or cheating that went on, but it will give you a better idea on where to look and how to look. Starting with the mail-in ballots, which I vehemently disagree with, they were mailed out on June 6th. And election day, as you know, was on the 28th. So from the 6th until the 28th, people could drop off their ballots anywhere in town at a box, and there were a few dozen of them out there. And every day they would go out and they would pick those up, and these represent the ballot boxes. So they're picked up and they're taken into the headquarters over here. And this is about the ratio we got. If we are looking at 1 cup equals 10,000 votes, this is the ratio we got over that span of June 6th up until election day. So that's the number of ballots that were collected in that time period. It's just over 70,000. Now, this is the Senate race. I picked it because the numbers work out good, because there was approximately 100,000 votes cast in that. So at the end of day one, we have 70,000 of those accounted for. So and there's no visibility into where they came from, what parts of town, when, nothing. You don't get that with ballots. You lose a lot of clarity. So this is what it looked like on June 27th. And as you can see there, there's quite a lead for O'Day. So this graph that everybody's been looking at, one thing you might not understand is that it starts down here at 32,000. That first dump, if we were to place a 0, would be all the way down here. That's how much that first dump was. I'll get rid of this now. But that is 70% of the, or 70,000 out of 100,000. It's 70% of your race right there. And this was the gap. And a lot of the contention is that, well, why doesn't it change? Why is it the same? Well, it's not quite the same, but you can't really see it here. And I'm going to show you why that won't change. It shouldn't change. So the first update, here we're at, I'm not sure which times these are. It was like, this was the 7 p.m. update. They gave you all the prior stuff. This is like 9 p.m. By 9 p.m. they hadn't done much more. And those ballots came in about 50-50. They were split. This is important. All the ballots collected beforehand basically had this 46% to 54% for O'Day split. There's a reason for that. Many people who don't trust the Dominion system were told not to vote beforehand. And those were mostly Hanks people. They were told not to vote beforehand, to please vote on election day in person. So this first dump was all pre-June 28th. The second one was a mix. Some pre, some post. And as we can see, he's already caught up. He's made up 4 points. So there's nothing flat about this. The problem is, there's just not enough votes in there. That's not going to make any significant difference. Even though he beat his 46% that he had, that really only brought him up to 46.27%. Now by this third data point, this third update, this little line here, that was all ballots that came in on election day. And as you can see, Hanks got 56% of that, and O'Day only got 43%. But again, look at that difference. There's just no making up all those votes that came in early with a teaspoon. By the third data set, it's right here, we peak out at 58% for Hanks, 42% for O'Day. Again, there's just not enough. I think the mistake people are making on this is, if you don't know how this works, you think each one of these should be equal to the first, and it's not. The first is 70% of it, and we just crawl along. We have one significant dump coming up here, but it doesn't help because it was towards the end, and towards the end you have a lot of ballots that were stragglers and had to be worked with. So this third set, 52.5. And again, if a cup is 10,000 votes, you know, that update was less than. This last update, this big one, actually it's the second to last one, was about 10,000 votes. But because the stragglers caught up, we're almost equally split. So you're just not going to see any of this gap close with these, because you got about the same votes in each. So by the end of the election, Hanks did catch up, but with those data dumps, he went from his original 46.16% to 46.2.7, 46.88, 47.28, 47.59, 48.08, and 48.15. So you're not going to see that represented in a chart like this, and it's going to be flat. There's nothing it could be other than flat, unless we had significantly larger and heavier Hanks votes in all of those updates, which we did not. And that's where you were left in that race. I could pull up on any race that you wanted in El Paso County, and it kind of looks the same. This is the percentage of votes each was getting per dump, and because people were told not to vote early, the Hanks vote was very deficient in that first dump. But as you can see on election day, this is all election day after this crossover, he actually did quite well percentage-wise. There just wasn't enough votes in there. So that's it for this. I hope that helps.